Chinese room made good on their promise to drop Dev Diary 15, the dialogue choice system, as detailed by Sarah Longthorne, TCR's senior narrative designer and writer. And while it certainly wasn't everything you could have hoped for, it was a sight better than a sharp stick in the eye. One of the first things we learn is that the Chinese room likes to give their voice actors an awful lot of leeway. This is a good thing. However, in a dialogue system where you, the player, choose, if you don't know what you're choosing, you're going to be disappointed. Sarah specifically points out that they all understand but that's not what I meant. When a player chooses something and something completely different comes out and even happens as a result of your dialogue choice, which makes this something they wish to avoid. And kudos on them for taking this into account. Hey, BioWare, Broadsword, and everybody else, pay attention. Sarah kicks this article off explaining they had two basic systems they were contemplating. The very literal, where you, the player, essentially see what is going to be said. They ran into a couple of problems with this approach. Number one, the voice actor is now restricted and cannot ad-lib and flavor the dialogue. And that just wasn't going to work for TCR. Nor should anybody want that. If you're going to pay high dollar for talent, you want them to use that talent. And number two, the WYSIWYG approach puts a real cramp on screen space and is an even bigger problem when they are, according to Sarah, catering to consoles. Side note, can we finally stop having big box, little box issues? Might not really impact this dialogue system, but let my PC be as awesome as it can be. And why is there such a memory constraint on consoles with the power of the chips and the video cards in them? But this is not a technical discussion or tirade. So that left the second approach, intent. And this approach is what they initially delivered in their gameplay videos. However, as she points out, all their feedback, rightfully so, pointed out that their intent was too vague. Take this clip, for example.
He's hiding something.
Tell me, Willem, what rumors have you heard about me?
You have an idea of what each of these dialogue options is supposed to do. You just have no idea how they're going to approach it. And now you're left with that, well, I hope they say something that I want my character to say. So they decided they were going to do a rework of their intent and use a carefully paraphrased menu option. They unfortunately did not show us this new and improved dialogue, and they have structured their dialogue system around three primary approaches. The aggressive approach, where I'm going to rip your head off because I'm some badass elder, and or just being very direct and unpopular in your opinion. And the second approach is where you're sly and manipulative, playing master of puppets. And Sarah points out that this is a hallmark of World of Darkness. The final primary approach is to be that mystery, that enigma. Don't show your cards, answer a question with a question. Happily, however, she acknowledged that there needs to be additional options here. Options based on your clan, based on the circumstances of the current dialogue, who just walked into the room, as well as responses based on previous actions. She did not, however, say whether there would be always 3, 4, 5, 6 options if they're still using a dialogue wheel. In the final section of this article, Sarah focused on the NPC's reaction to something the PC says, and they show off a snippet of their Inky system, that's their dialogue management system, in what can only be an insanely cut down snippet of code. She walks us through an interaction between Fire, God, that's still terrible, and Lou, detailing how Lou will react differently to you depending on how you have reacted to her in the past. If you're always aggressive, but you're suddenly not aggressive, she's going to take that into account and may find it suspicious and react poorly, just as the opposite is also true. Additionally, other factors will be taken into account by NPCs based on information they have about you and the current situation that you're in. TCR does not want you to constantly use the same approach with every character to game the system. Lou always expects an aggressive, forceful attitude, and so she always responds favorably to that is not the approach they're looking for. Finally, it appears we will get feedback on our responses. Notice the Lou was irritated by that and Lou was pleased by that in the top right corner of the two screenshots. Some might say, well, how the heck would you know whether she was or not? So that seems a little unrealistic. This is a game, however, and we have no real idea unless we're told something by the developers. So I, for one, am happy to see some kind of feedback on my dialogue choices. And as a final bonus to this Dev Diary, the very last graphic showed us that Dev Diary 16 will be on the Camarilla, Dev Diary 17 will be on the Anarchs, both of those we already knew, but Dev Diary 18 was announced and it will be on World Building. That will be on September 25th. What do you folks think? Leave us a comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.